I'm here to say that it is okay for you to have food intolerances. Keep avoiding those foods, my friends. But I would urge you to think about how most food intolerances are in response to a problem that you have, your gut, your brain, somewhere. And I would urge you to get to the bottom of those issues. In my tenure as an adult human, I've had intolerances to certain foods. I've had like periods where I could really only eat X foods, and I should avoid, if I want to feel good, X other foods, right? I think a lot of us have. Some people haven't, though, and that's why it's stigmatized. You know, you go to your family's gathering or something, or whatever. I don't know, your mate. People in Australia like, what, my mate? Your mate and your friends, and they're like, oh, fucking here we go again. Johnny can't eat, guac sauce. What can you eat, Johnny? It's stigmatized. Don't worry about that shit. Let people sit in their naive state and not draw the correlation and then do the research and get to the bottom of like the food product that's causing their weekly headaches. Fine, let them sit in their state. So don't let the stigma prevent you from or make you eat the foods that are definitely going to cause you symptoms. But I would urge you, yes, you may have a gluten intolerance. Yes, you may have a mast cell activation problem, a histamine intolerance, some sort of wacky response from some food or ingredient that causes you symptoms and interferes with your quality of life. So I'm not here to gaslight you, and people that do are shitty humans. There's a lot of shitty humans out there, believe me. Get to the bottom of it, though, okay? Because you can. If you run through the ruthless research and experimentation on things you can do to identify what the issue is and then get to the bottom of it and resolve the issue, then you'll be able to eat your pizza again, or your, I don't know, some people can't eat onions or whatever, things that exacerbate their colitis, right? I mean, I don't know if medication is necessarily, depends on the condition, a sustainable way to deal with those issues. You got to get to the bottom of it, right? So that's all I wanted to say. I'm here to give you permission to be that person that looks at the fucking salad dressing and goes, yeah, no, I don't really want to consume the soybean oil in it, because I know it's going to give me like some sort of response. You've narrowed it down. Like, you actually did the thinking. That's where the stigma comes from. And a lot of folks on looking like, really, bro, you can't eat soybean. Like, they haven't done the thinking, enough thinking. I'm sure they have problems too. Back pain, right? Could be in response to certain foods that they eat, which are causing an inflammatory response. So they've got to get to the bottom of why that's happening. No one wants to do the thinking about physiology, bro. It's daunting as hell. I remember when I was, I must have been 23, 24, right at the beginning of getting into this whole thing, nootropics, physiology, trying to understand my body. I was like, wow, this is a real daunting task to know at the very least what an MD knows in terms of basic physiology. But then, getting into more specialized sectors like potentially homeopathy or even functional medicine, like what some of these specialists know. It's fucking super daunting, right? But if you're going to take charge of your health and importantly, your energy, and you want to feel good most of the time, you're kind of going to have to know. Otherwise, what do you have to rely on? You have the medical establishment, which is going to give you a pill for it. And I'm not saying that all pills are bad, because some of them are actually quite useful from the medical establishment and pharma. And I know some of you would never think I would say such a thing, but it's true. But there are, it's like we don't know everything, and certainly, their drugs can't solve most of your problems, right? Whereas other things can. Dietary changes, maybe brief stints on some of their drugs, etc. It runs the gamut, right? So it depends on your particular situation. But don't be afraid to be that person. It's like, yeah, no, I won't eat that. And don't eat it, because you know better. You're going to have some sort of response to it. It's going to activate mast cells, and because you have histamine intolerance or mast cell activation, or, exacerbate your SIBO or something, You understand. But I'd urge you to get to the bottom of it and try to resolve it. Because though it's daunting, and though it's painstaking and exhausting to try to figure out, like, draw that correlation between the food thing and your condition, and then get to the bottom of the condition so that you can eat the food thing again, you can get to the point where you resolve it, and then you can eat pizza again, or dairy, or fucking whatever. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Content coming this week, and I hope you guys are well.